computer.
Perfect.
So we're going to post an entire story, and that way we'll have a video of you posting a story, like from soup to nuts.
Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
So the very, very first thing I do is, a lot of people, when I lead them through posting a story, have never gotten on the website.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
yeah, what you need is this. I will put this, I think I might have put this in the posting guide. There it is. But I'm going to make sure.
Okay.
So yes, this video should go together with the posting guideline, which is in our story folder inside the important info folder for anybody watching one day. It is exhaustive, but if you're a visual learner, we got both options for you now.
Exactly.
So northcarolinahealthnews.org/wplogin.php, and that is how you get to the back end. And then of course, today we're posting a partner story, but you'll be posting your own story most likely.
Right.
Couple ways to make a post. You can go straight to add new from here. You can go into the posts page and add new from there. And then, oh wow, it's welcoming me to the block editor.
Wow, okay. Like you've never been there.
Right, like I wasn't here 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
So very first things I always do is copy and paste the title right there where it says that. Has it been doing this for you, Rose?
Yes, it has. It takes. So what do you do about that?
If you save draft, it should reset the formatting. If not, save it and then hit reset. But
well, you know, I'm old enough that I remember programs like Photoshop where anything you did, like you made any change, then you hit save, like, because you only had like one undo, right? So I'm hitting save draft all the time.
Well, and even when I started 2 years ago, it was not saving automatically to the degree it does now. So we're very lucky.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Second thing I always do, and you know, everybody kind of develops their own like order of events here, but I pretty much always take what we call a subtitle and put it in we usually call it a summary, and it goes in the subtitle box.
Maybe we should change that on our thing.
That's a good idea.
Will do.
Yeah, the summary is not something we've ever used. That just came with this website setup. The subtitle is what we use. You should see it pop up here. The summary, I don't think it shows up anywhere. Yeah, you don't see that.
Okay.
So, and then, so a couple other things. This sidebar, if you get on and it's not there, it is under this little settings button right here. So you can always go grab it.
Here it is. I remember the first time I got on and the sidebar wasn't there, and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I broke the website.
It's broken. We'll never fix it. We'll come back to this top box later, but pretty much you can just go down the sidebar, template, ignore authors you're going to use. So if you're posting your own story, don't worry about it. If you're posting somebody else's, or there's two authors, that's where you add one, and then you know, I'm going to X myself out because I didn't write this.
Right.
You'll never need Newspack ad settings. We don't even use them, or their campaign settings. Skip article summary. There are very few circumstances in which you'll need to turn off AMP. But
mostly if you have an interactive graphic.
And some of them do work now. They're getting better at making it. So if you preview your article and some code thing element isn't showing up in the preview, that's when you would turn AMP off. Otherwise, this speeds up our site and we do not want it gone.
Right.
Permalink generates automatically. We're not worried about length here. It is what it is. And so here's the longest part of this is categories and tags. And the reason it's silly to pay somebody to go read the story again and do it themselves. So
that's why it's so important at the top on that story template for you to highlight the tags and highlight the categories, right? So that the person who's posting, if it's not you, doesn't have to go and read them.
Yes. So I'm probably not going to spend too long, you know, reading the story to make sure every one of these is correct. But quick run through, looks like this is rural health, looks like it's hospitals. For some context for these, I always show people this when I'm teaching them how to do it. Your big bucket category is really important because it tells everybody and the internet and SEO what this story is about. It's also important for sorting your homepage. So, or our homepage. So we have our big main story of the day. And then the rest of the week is right here on the side. And then if you keep scrolling down, it sorts into these categories. So we have all of our categories visible somewhere. And so you also see here, some of these are kind of similar: public health, state health policy. If they're really, really similar, pick one. So yes, this is why it's important to categorize your story correctly. That helps people connect it. It helps the website understand what it is. So this one, I'm going to focus on rural health. We also have hospitals, and you'll get really used to what our categories are and where yours fits.
Featured, we put featured on everything.
Everything gets featured, and you'll see when you select more than one, it pops up a box to select the primary category. So it defaults to the first one you select, but that might not necessarily be the one you want. We're definitely leaving it this time. Rural health is a big beat, but make sure, because that's the final sorting. If you pick 3 categories and it doesn't know what to do, it goes with the primary.
Right.
So let it know.
Let it know.
So then we get to tags.
Tags.
Do what? Sorry.
Tell the website. Let the website
know. Tell the website. It doesn't know. It's not as smart as you. So tags, a couple notes on these. So we're talking about Brevard. That's a town. That's definitely a town that we've talked. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a town we've talked about.
Definitely one we've talked about. You'll see that if you start typing a word, it generates tags, and that's the way we want this to happen because we have so many duplicates that are so close to each other. Make sure you're not just typing in a word and hitting enter, because we've got a lot of misspelling, we've got a lot of duplicates, and Rose and I tried to figure out how to delete them one time and we couldn't.
I need to pay somebody for like a week of just like going through all of our tags.
Oh God.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be, that would be a miserable job. That's a job for an intern.
Yes. Have fun consolidating.
Right. So I just looked it up. Brevard is in Transylvania County. Every county is in the tags.
Oh yeah. And there's a really extensive list in here about what we tag. So, think of it as your category is your big bucket. Category is substance use. Your tags, substance use can be anything, right? Are we talking alcohol? Are we talking drugs? Are we talking
fentanyl? Are we talking oxycodone? Right.
Right. So your tags are going to specify within that group. So if substance use is your category, you would tag alcohol abuse for one story, needle exchange for a different one, probably with needle exchange, harm reduction, et cetera, et cetera. This connects stories within our website. So people can click on any story, scroll all the way down and see all the way down, and see, oh, I live in Robeson County. What else have we written about this? And pull that up. Or I know somebody with an opioid issue. How do we deal with that?
Right.
So
I mean, the whole point to this tags and the categories and then the way the website is created, we're trying to make it easier for readers to discover more on the site. So any ways that they can get around. So the tags will help them get around. The categories will help them get around. On the homepage, there's all kinds of little ways for them to get around, right? Like there's just so much. We do the related stories box. It's all about helping people get around.
Absolutely. And the more interconnected our website is, the higher it scores on Google. So they like to know that we keep writing about the same things and we're referring to older work, and so subjects matter, beyond just public health, but also geography. So counties, cities, names of government officials, if we're going to write about them again. If you're talking to one liaison in Brevard's health department, meh. If you're talking to Cody Kinsley or, you know, somebody who will be there for several years who we will talk to often, definitely
HHS
tag.
secretary.
Yes. Government agencies, universities, big, you know, American Psychiatric Association, big associations is the next word that I have right there. Hospitals, hospital conglomerates, other organizations. So yeah, and again, just to belabor the point, it's better to start typing the name of the thing than to just cut and paste or try to, you know, make your own version. You can make a new tag if you need to. If you know you're going to write about this thing again, you probably won't need to.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. No, it's better. It's much better to just use the tags that we have. So that way people can get around, they can find, and then also big events like we have COVID-19, we have pandemic, and we have COVID-19 pandemic, right?
And coronavirus.
And coronavirus.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
things are happening fast in 2020.
So this will be much more filled out. I'm going to go back in after the video and make sure we got all the relevant subject matter, but you know, anywhere from like, I would say probably hover around 10 would be an average tag for a story.
Yeah.
Okay, some other things to skip. You can skip sponsors, excerpts, discussion. Ignore all that. Featured image is very important because we don't want our website to look ugly. So set featured image is a big box here. If you don't know what your picture is, you know, to go along the harm reduction route, we have so many things.
So many
things. But be careful to check. Well, I'll do it on this one. Or if you have your own photo, you upload files right here, you know, pop in the photo you want. And the one thing to note when you're looking through the database of photos that aren't loading. Okay, perfect. So occasionally you'll see this. This is mostly for Carolina Public Press pictures. They are happy for us to republish their stuff, but they want their photos to stay with their stories, which fair enough, they took them.
They took them, right, exactly.
And then they have the little caption here. Nope. So caption is what's going to show up on the thing when you post it. Description is not. There's much more on captions and photo, also in the important info folder. And then, we could
talk about that for another 10 minutes.
Yeah. The alt text is more important than it needs to be. It's a very important thing. So alt text is how people with accessibility issues use the internet. So a screen reader will hit this photo and read whatever we put in here. But also Google likes to double check that you're actually writing about what you say you're writing about and check your alt text for SEO keywords. So they're totally usurping the point of this thing. So just keep that in mind when you're going through.
Actually, I think that's it's good alt text. Sometimes the captions are alt texty, you know?
Yeah, definitely. You know, so to make this usable for people using screen readers, you want to describe what's happening. You know, it shows the front entrance of a hospital building. What are we looking at?
The hospital
building.
Emergency
room.
I would say, since we might be putting Brevard might be a keyword.
Yeah. Brevard, and then you have to turn it into SEO. So something where local health care providers are fighting larger hospital chains or something like that.
Right.
So
I would say fighting HCA, a larger hospital chain.
Perfect. Yes, that is what it is. Larger hospital chain. So that probably covers our bases. And then to save what you do with the photo, you click up here and you look for that little circle there. And there's not exactly a minimum size. I think it wants it to be 1200 by 800.
1200 wide. It likes 1200 or larger.
It will still publish it, which it didn't used to.
Yeah.
But it won't it won't be justified correctly in the site.
It'll look funky.
So again, everything else we can ignore on this side for now.
Yeah.
So then we go in your own story. This is a little bit easier because you don't have to work around somebody else's photos.
So yeah, so I like to take the link out of the name.
Oh, okay.
And then do another line, yeah, or Carolina, and put the link in Carolina Public Press, right?
Okay.
So that you're not linking to their author page.
I usually do both, but as long as the link back to the original story is there, I think we're fine.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Oh, look at you. You're adding a link. How'd you do that, Shelby?
Great question, Rose. Let me click out of it. So you want to kind of like normal, highlight the thing you found, and you'll notice, okay, so this is welcome to the block editor right here. So this top bar right here is one set of settings that you can mess with. And this is usually really formatty settings, like what is the actual text look like? So copy and paste into this link button and make sure you hit enter, because if you just click out, it won't save it. It's kind of annoying.
If you hit return, it'll work too.
And then also over here, you'll notice the sidebar changed. And so that is so that any block that you're dealing with, each paragraph is a block, each image is a block, each element of your story is a block. You can, change whatever you want. But then we're going to have to undo that because I don't know what the original size is. Okay.
Oops.
We're good. Okay. So the only other thing is that bylines and any subheadings, you're going to change what kind of block it is. So text is entered as a paragraph block, but we want it transformed. Well, let's go back to paragraph. We want it turned into a heading block, which you'll see is our most used block after paragraph. And then we want to cut that size down a little to H4. That just makes it a little more legible. And then that's, why do I keep clicking that? Then we can go back in here and grab, oh, I forgot they do this. I have to start over every time. So then we can go back in here and grab all of our text. We will definitely be using this later, but that is not necessary for posting. And copy and paste, it'll just pull the whole story. And then
I hate the way that they bold names.
Yeah, it's really annoying to go. If it says updating failed, that's a good time to save your draft. Does it ever do that to you, Rose? It does that to me.
Sometimes, yeah. I didn't realize that that's what you should do, but that's a great, yeah, save the draft.
So when you're going through, once you copy and paste it in, you're going to go through and look for your subheadings is really the main thing. Insert your photos. If you're republishing somebody who formats theirs differently, you have to select each name. So they already have their subheadings are heading blocks because they actually use the same web people we do. But theirs are a little bit bigger. We'll just make them smaller.
Oh, you don't have to highlight the whole thing. You just click on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, you're just changing the size of the whole block.
Cool.
So that is
okay. That's nice.
Definitely better.
It's a little faster. Okay. This all goes away.
Yes. You can click on this little 3 dots here to remove blocks, or you can just click on it and delete. That is
click on it and delete. Here we go.
Delete this awkward space.
We love Carolina Public Press, but we don't need to run their ads.
Yes, all true. We're just gonna, oh, okay. It won't let me unbold all of it, will it? Goodbye. That's gonna bug me. So, and you don't, this is actually a really good time to do your tags as you're going back through to format.
Right.
But if you've written the story.
Oh, look, there's a bunch of other counties. Madison, Mitchell, Buncombe. So.
Okay.
There's Madison County, Mitchell County, Buncombe, McDowell, and Macon.
It's like a screen reader. I don't even have to look. Cool. So
I always put in Western North Carolina because people
Oh.
like to, I think people put in as a search term, Western North Carolina, right?
Perfect. Yeah, I don't usually think to do that, but it's smart. Okay, so we've done all the formatting. Our text looks great. What else? And I want to make sure this is like as close as possible to this guide,
Mhm.
which I've been teaching so many people lately that I pretty much have it down. Okay, so we're right here, formatting. A couple things that we do for each story. We add a donate block, 2 or 3 graphs in.
We need to
And-
make a new one.
Yeah, we do.
It's time.
We definitely do. So to add a new block, anytime you see this square here, it'll pull up a bunch of options. If you know what you're looking for, you can type / and it'll also bring up options, or you can write image. Great.
Here we go.
So currently the one we're using, you just search donate and grab, this is the most recent general donate one.
Mhm.
And in the description, you copy this link and then select the photo, a couple. So back up to this top bar to do some formatting. You want it centered. You want the link in there so they can go straight to the donate page. And then
Right to the donate page. They don't pass go. They don't collect $200.
Don't even finish reading the story. Back here on the sidebar, put it full size. That doesn't make a huge difference with this one, but it does with some other photos, which
Sometimes
I don't think
make
they
it go
have.
all the way across.
Other photos. No, we're gonna drop one in just to play around. So again, make a new line. Sometimes you don't even have to make a new line. That'll just pop up in between blocks there. Just to show you the difference and to show you how to do this again. So for some reason, our site likes to put things in what they call large, but turning it to full size makes it the size that we actually want. Oh my God, that puppy is so cute.
Puppy's adorable.
Wow. Okay. And obviously you don't usually have to do the select the link, turn it into a link thing. Just put the photo in and you're good. The last thing we do on every story.
There's a couple names that are bolded.
What, I missed a couple?
Yeah, they're like.
Oh yeah, they're there. So the last thing in the body of the story, I should say, is we want to connect it to other stories about these same issues. Okay. I like to put it a few blocks up from the bottom. Elizabeth would put hers at the very bottom of the story.
I kind of like mine halfway down.
Oh, halfway down. Why not?
Right, because people don't always read to the end.
Right.
Right.
So our related stories block, there's something inside. Let me see if I have written down.
Well, we did a separate video on the related stories block.
Good point. Good point. Well, I'm going to do it again. I'll run through it really fast though. So you want homepage posts, which is basically the foundation of our whole website. In our top settings bar, we turn it into a grid. And then over on the sidebar, we pick, rural health.
Yeah. You could do hospitals too.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do hospitals?
Let's see. Sometimes those are old stories. Oh yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah,
yes.
we've got the psych hospital and yeah.
So this is also how we connect series. We make specific tags for each series that go with each story, things that wouldn't come up. So you can put your series here. You can put other stories just by you if you're really feeling it. Why not? And then we turn off the excerpt because that is way too much, right?
That is too much.
So much more manageable. And then we turn the type scale down to 2.
Yeah. So much more manageable.
So pleasant. I usually turn the date off too. That doesn't matter a ton.
So you don't have that,
just
they call those orphans in typesetting, right?
Oh yeah,
because they're just hanging out.
And then you want to say you know, more rural health stories, related stories, whatever makes the most sense for what you're doing. And then the last step, back over on the top bar, and you can play with these, you know, there's different things you can do. That's kind of cool looking.
That is kind of cool looking.
But, you know, so back over here, to make any boxes and to give things backgrounds, you want to group them. So you can do the same if you click on a few graphs, you shift click here, you turn it into a group. It gives you the opportunity to put blue or whatever color, but that's the best of our colors.
That's our website color.
And there you go. Voila.
That's so easy.
It's so easy. It is, which it is a lot of
so
steps.
Hard.
We recognize it's a lot of steps, but before we switched web plans, Rose and I were scrambling trying to figure out how to connect stories. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So yes, the only things left to do are SEO and scheduling. So SEO.
We have a separate video for SEO.
So maybe we should go ahead and I'll do the SEO in a second since we've already done that.
Yeah.
Because I would need to read it and have a pretty holistic understanding of what's happening.
Right.
So yes, come back for more on SEO.
Right, exactly. So save draft and then we can schedule.
Yes. So you are pretty much almost never going to hit publish directly.
Right.
You're going to come down here to where it has immediately next to publish. That's a button that gives you the calendar. You select the next day and turn this first number to 4. That is all you do for timing. We want it running sometime between 4 and 5 a.m.
Because that's when most of the folks who do content aggregation go looking for stories.
Makes sense. So then you can just click out, make sure it saves your date and time. You hit schedule. It'll say, are you really, really fully sure? And you'll say, yes, for sure. And then you will copy this link to send to whoever does social media to let them know you're done with your story.
Right. Let's do a preview. Let's take a look at how it looks, because I always do a preview, especially with the related stories box, to make sure that it's not bumping up against an ad.
Great point. Yes, I remember to tell people that, but I forgot to do it in this video. So
these ads pop up automatically.
These generate, currently there are 3 ad spaces, I believe. 3 ad spaces and a newsletter sign up that generate in your story automatically. So the first 3 ads are kind of pretty high up in the story. You'll see the one we put in there is not included in that, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, and then a lot of space for you to play with. And then the newsletter is, I think it's about 60% down. And then your related stories block. So our general rule of thumb, have any elements, any photos, charts, maps, whatever you have 2 blocks away from anything else. So if there was an ad right here, we'd be good. If there was one right here, I'd want to move it around a little.
Especially because it breaks up and you end up like with these sort of orphaned paragraphs. Or sometimes if like the photo is on one side, it'll like offset the ad weirdly. Yeah, it can get really wonky. So definitely go ahead and preview before you schedule to make sure everything looks right. And if you do need to move something around, if you click on something, any block is going to have these little arrows. Just bump whatever you need to do. Even your graphs have that. Although you probably shouldn't be moving graphs around at this point. Yeah. I think that's it. Pretty much it. That's it for, okay, I think we can stop this.
Beautiful. Woo.